Welcome. You're listening to the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast, a podcast production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. Thanks for joining us. And welcome back to another episode. This is David Rossi, Executive Director of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County. And this is a special episode. I'm entitling this one, Levy Success and Next Steps. So we are just coming off this week the vote here in Ashland County, where the voters overwhelmingly supported our replacement levy that was on. And I wanted to say, first and foremost, thank you. The margins, 19 points, 59 to 40, really. It was just more than I could have hoped for, and that's really important. That kind of a margin sends a message to, I think, the community, but particularly our board about the support that this community has for mental health, substance use services, prevention services, everything the board's doing, has been doing, and what we plan to do going forward. But it's humbling. I've talked to several of my board members about this. It's very humbling to know that the community is supportive, but obviously there's expectations, and there should be expectations of the board to continue to do the right thing, to continue to care, which was our slogan for the many years to come. So it was a 10-year replacement. We are very excited. For some of you policy folks out there, you might say, well, what does that mean in terms of what will we start to see, David? And I want to go through some of the programs and things that you'll see. But keep in mind, this means the additional revenue will be collected during the 2026 calendar year. But the funds, the additional funds that the levy will bring in, won't actually be realized by the board until 2027. So there's a bit of delay in the actual funds coming in, the additional funds, but the board has thought that through, and we have some plans in place for bridge funding, so we don't have to wait until those funds actually start to come in. So the board has set aside some one-time reserve dollars, but we plan to use those to stand up some of the expansions and enhancements, knowing that now that the levy revenue will start to come in 2027, because we didn't want to wait. We didn't want the voters to vote on something here in November of 2025, but then not really see some of the improvements and promises that we made until January of 2027. I hope that makes sense. Again, I can't say enough about the wise stewardship that our board has shown in setting aside appropriate reserves to do things like this. It wouldn't be possible otherwise. So, I mean, there's so many thank yous. I could do the whole program on who to thank. Certainly, Dr. McElfresh, our levy chair, the levy committee, all of the board members, our agency partners, Appleseed, Acada Catholic Charities, all of their staff. There's so many folks that help make that 59-40% vote happen. So thank you, and I'll say that. I mean, every time you see me for probably the next few months, you'll hear me say thank you, because I mean it. It's big for this county. I think we're positioned well to do several things, and I wanted to talk about a few of those things. So levy success, yes, but what is some of the next steps? And again, more of this will come out as we actually implement it. But one of the things we promised when we were campaigning was that the liaison program, the base level that levy funds go towards supporting, haven't really increased since we started the program some 25 years ago. So one of the things we're going to do is increase kind of the level of funding that the board uses for the liaison program to move that up. Now, I will say, our schools, some of our school districts have partnered with us and used some of their own dollars to come alongside our levy dollars to get more out of the program. I hope that continues, and I will talk to all the superintendents about that individually. About our hope is, as we increase our share, that they continue either at the same level or even more if they want to, because we just know how much good that the liaison program is doing throughout our county in the various districts. And again, that's a big part, I think, about why we were so successful with the Levy. People, whether you're parent, grandparent, young person, so many people are positively impacted by the liaison program. They want to see it grow, continue, and strengthen. And speaking of strengthening, our 24/7 crisis services, this is something that we will use the dollars to help shore up, to make sure that we continue to be as responsive as we can be. As many of you have probably heard, there is a national number now for crisis. And that is the 988 number. The board has done a lot of due diligence. We are continuing to monitor the quality of the 988 number. But as I've said in all my talks here in Ashland County, 988 isn't a local number in the sense that it goes to a regional call bank out of Lorain County, the Nord Center. And those folks, I think, are doing a decent job. But the folks that answer when you call 988 from Ashland County do not know Ashland County the way the folks know it. When you call our local crisis number, our 419-289-6111. When you call that number, and that's a number the board has supported for over 20 years, you are going to get that local person that is very familiar with all the different resources. And I still, and my board, both still feel like the local option is the far superior option. But if folks don't remember that number when the crisis is hot, I get it. Call 988. There's a good chance that the person that answers 988 is going to refer you back to our local 24/7 crisis. It is just an added step, though, and I'd rather folks, particularly folks that are in a crisis, avoid an extra step. So we will continue to strengthen our 24/7 local crisis number, awareness of that number, ease and access. I mean, trust me, if there is an easy way to turn that into a 3-digit, I would, but those things are really hard to do, actually. One thing that is being piloted now, it's something called Mobile Response Stabilization Services. MRSS is kind of the acronym for that, Mobile Response Stabilization Services. This is a pilot. The board isn't currently funding this. The funds are coming from the state at this point. And essentially what it is, it's almost like it's a rapid response team that typically responds either to the homes or to schools if there's a youth crisis as defined by the family. So if a young person is struggling at school or in the home, this team can be mobilized to engage the family and the young person, try to de-escalate the crisis situation, whatever that might be, and then offer resources. The team isn't really designed to be involved with the youth and family for long term, but in a short term, to keep things stable, to get them connected with the needed resources. They seem to be doing a really good job with that. It just started in July, so we're only a few months into it. But we're watching that program, and that was something when we were on the campaign trail trying to make the case for the replacement. This is something, if it works out, it continues to demonstrate effectiveness in reducing the need for hospitalizations or involvement in juvenile court or law enforcement, children's services. If it can avoid some of those negative outcomes by getting families, young people, the services and supports they need, the board may want to fund that. But it's a very expensive intervention because it's what they call a firehouse model. And again, just like we never know where there's going to be a fire, you have to have people ready to go. And it's the same with this crisis response model. We would have to pay folks to be ready all the time, not knowing when or how many calls they might get in a shift. So it's an expensive model, but if it demonstrates the kind of outcomes we are seeing initially, that is something that the board may want to invest levy dollars in. I was thinking about it this morning. I kind of think of it almost like a liaisons after dark program. Now, I hope that doesn't sound too sinister, but our school community liaisons work during the school months and the school days. But sometimes families experience challenges after school's over, and if they're able to employ the kinds of skills in the sensitivities that our liaisons that work in the schools do, but just do that in the home environment after school hours. That's kind of my vision for how it might be able to work, and also connect, dovetail, complement what we're already doing in our schools. The other thing we're going to do is to expand our senior services and our veteran services to engage some of these disconnected seniors and vets. And this is not as easy as you might think, but we have been investigating, looking at different models out there for both these groups. And I'll just give you the short version. The short version with our seniors is oftentimes seniors know seniors that might be isolated. Maybe they don't have family locally, and they might be in an apartment or a home, and they're struggling because they are disconnected from the community, from church. No one's looking at them. Nobody's talking with them. They're not able to get out maybe as much as they want because of all kinds of reasons, physical, financial, et cetera. But we want to encourage our seniors to get involved with our Golden Center programs or our Pen Pal programs, our what we call our multi-generational mentoring program through the Pen Pal program. But we need to find these seniors, and we want to mobilize other seniors to do that. We want to collaborate with organizations like Council on Aging, who has a home-delivered meal program, which is vital to a lot of our seniors. But we want to try to make sure that we can find as many isolated, disconnected seniors as possible and get them engaged. Because again, that avoids sometimes very serious crises down the road if we can engage them earlier. And we know that population exists. And the other group that's tough to engage sometimes is our veterans. And the best advice I've gotten comes directly from our veterans. Ask us. So all the things what we've done so far to support our veterans has been their ideas. Years ago, we tried to do some things that we thought made sense, but a lot of our veterans said, no, that doesn't make sense, and they didn't participate. So we've had much greater success, like with the Landing Zone at Catholic Charities, where they meet for coffee and discussion and support. That was something, an idea that came directly from the veterans. And so we want to engage veterans from different theaters, different times, different war zones or deployments, and I don't think we're doing as good a job as we can with all those eras. So sometimes that means just sitting down with veterans and asking how we can better be supportive to them and their family. So that's another big focus with the Levy going forward. Another thing I've noted here, we are going to triple down on our prevention services. For any of you that were at the annual luncheon that the board recently had, we talked about how a majority of our funding already goes to prevention services versus treatment and crisis. And that was by design. That took the board many, many years to do. But what that means is, and this is important, you as a community member to know, that the board is trying to front load prevention services such that individuals build resilience, build skills and tools so that they don't need to either go into the longer term treatment system or crisis system ever, or if they do, maybe they spend the least amount of time possible in it, right? So the idea is let's build up people, their skills, their resiliency, their ability to manage life's challenges, that emotional distress, all the things that we know as human beings we are going to experience. Do as much of that prevention and building emotional muscle, if you will, and such that when the individuals do experience these things in life, their first reaction is, maybe I have a diagnosis that I need pills, but rather, how can I draw on what I already know? How can I use my natural supports? How can I use my family, my friends, my faith, my church community, other community partners to help me negotiate this difficult situation? So, but sometimes, yes, people will need the formal system help, our Appleseed, our Catholic Charities, our CADA. But even in those instances, our hope is with the prevention and the resiliency-based approach, the recovery-oriented, optimistic approach that the Ashland County Board has had, is that folks, when they take advantage of those formal systems of care, they do that on a temporary, a time-limited basis, okay? Because sometimes we all need a refresher on, you can do this, here's some skills, maybe there's there's some things that you didn't know that might be helpful in your specific situation. So all that to say, tripling down on prevention. We definitely also want to include within there some more around bullying prevention and education in our schools, because we've been hearing more and more reports of that being an issue for our young people. The other thing you should know that the Levy is doing, and that'll start pretty quickly, is it makes Ashland County competitive. So like many industries, the behavioral health care workforce, it's hyper competitive right now. And our board and all the community members I spoke with agreed that Ashland County should not be the last place people go because it pays the lowest in our region. Okay. Now, again, hear me now. I'm not talking about competing with Cuyahoga County, Franklin County, Hamilton County, Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland. We will never be able to have the resource levels that those folks do. But we do need to be competitive to the region around us, such that people choose Ashland County because we are competitive. Obviously, our mayor and our county commissioners are doing a wonderful job in trying to create all the other things that make this a place, a destination, a place to live, a place to raise families, a place to grow, be happy, and contribute, etc. But we need to do our part, and part of that is making sure that our agencies have sufficient resources to both attract and retain a high quality behavioral health workforce. Because guess what, Ashland County, you deserve that, and we want to ensure that you have that. The final thing I'll mention just in passing is, we are probably going to stop running those Dwight McElfresh commercials on the radio. I tease because Dr. McElfresh did some wonderful promo spots supporting the Levy, and we joke because so many folks were able to hear Dr. McElfresh in those little spots on the radio supporting the Levy, and a lot of his friends tease him. It's like, how much longer do we need to hear you? Well, voters, since we were so successful, we promise to stop running those ads. So maybe to wrap up, let me just say thank you again, Ashland County. I am very much looking forward to many more episodes of how together we are keeping Ashland healthy. I love what I do. Hopefully, anyone that knows me or listened to the broadcast for a while can hear that, can sense that, and that's my prayer and my wish for everyone, that you find employment, you find work that is meaningful, that you wake up and you're joyful in doing it. You see the meaning and purpose of it, because ultimately that is what work should be for all of us. So thank you again, Ashland County. Looking forward to our next Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Keeping Ashland Healthy podcast. The podcast is a production of the Mental Health and Recovery Board of Ashland County, Ohio. You can reach the board by calling 419-281-3139. Please remember that the board funds a local 24/7 crisis line through Appleseed Community Mental Health Center. It can be reached by calling 419-289-6111. That's 419-289-6111. Until next time, please join us in Keeping Ashland Healthy.